Bitcoin pain on the charts, downside on the 6-hour charts. Not only downside, tell me if you agree with this, but the sideways. I really think the sideways action on these Bitcoin charts, especially in the shorter term, is more painful than if we're just going to fall to a certain target. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with that. But we're going to talk about continued pain for Bitcoin, what it looks like. Bitcoin hasn't hit its shorter term target yet, and I just want to show you the setups on the charts. Now, before we do that, I want to just note something. We have been tracking this rising channel for Bitcoin on the shorter term. We've broken the trend line. We're falling right now, and we're kind of in the middle of the target and the breakdown, right? So what is in play still is the pullback. We see pullbacks happen often in these types of setups. So I just want to throw that out there. That's something to monitor and keep an eye on, especially as we start seeing some support on the daily chart we're going to look at in a minute. But this is what we're going to talk about in this video, this entire setup, this entire move, why I also think this sideways trading of 4 days is getting ready to end. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's jump into the video. I really appreciate all of you. So the first thing I want to do, a quick glance at the yearly chart. I'm sorry. Putting things into perspective. Just look at this. Red candle, it's a bear market. This is 2014. 1, 2, 3 green candles. A red candle, that's the bear market, 2018. 1, 2, 3 green candles. Bear market, 2022. Here's our first green candle. We're still only in April of this year. We're at the very beginning of this next bull cycle. That doesn't mean that there will not be volatility within even this year, but just look at the zoomed out Bitcoin chart and what is going on in terms of Bitcoin. 2022, I say this time and time again, I really think was the worst of it. Even in regards from macroeconomic perspective, as we've evaluated the data, the year before the recession oftentimes is the worst year for markets, i.e. 2022. I just want to get that out of the way. This is a clip, a really quick clip from April 19th, 6 days ago. Check this out. Downside target right around $25,800, $900. Let's just call it $26,000. You go to the daily chart. And so we even discussed $26,000 being the downside target. And this is what's good about it. It allows us to visualize and prepare for the scenario so that when all of this is happening, though it's not fun, it's just kind of like, well, we're waiting for it. We knew it was possible. Bitcoin doesn't just go up forever. And it's just a constant reminder of that from a data perspective on these charts. So here's $26,000. Again, it has not been hit yet. We're kind of in between the breakdown and that target, Bitcoin consolidating. Let's start digging into the charts though, and just kind of, I want to just show you some things I've been watching. There's this area specifically back here in March, beginning of March, that really is catching my attention in terms of the setup for Bitcoin. And you can just see, let's actually take the bars pattern, this swing high back here to this fall, right? Check this out. Take that bars pattern and just put it over here. It's not identical, but what I'm saying is just kind of these steps down of consolidation is kind of what's happening and setting up on the Bitcoin charts. And we're going to see what that looks like on the daily too. So right now you can even see on the momentum oscillator for Bitcoin on the 6 hour, kind of at a very similar area as it was back here at this exact type of sideways consolidation on the 6 hour chart, right? And then what happened? Bitcoin capitulated kind of down into this very oversold area. So this in play, if you even look at before it capitulated on that shorter term price chart, you can just see, let me move this over a little bit. You can just see Bitcoin was overbought on the stock R side, this quicker moving momentum oscillator. It's kind of where we are right now. If we go to the daily chart and we start saying, okay, what's going on over here? First thing to note is the very fact that Bitcoin, if you look at this chart, has fallen right to the 50-day moving average. So if there is a case, and I'm throwing this out there briefly, if there is a case for this pullback to the trend line, $30,000 area, even just a break back above this more macro trend line, Bitcoin broke above and now we're falling back into. If there's a case for Bitcoin just to make that move back here or even test the 20-day moving average around 29,000, this 50-day moving average support could be that type of narrative, right? But the thing is, 50-day moving average support doesn't have to hold every time, right? as we get all these moving averages, 20-day, 50-day, 200-day, pulling together and converging together on the daily and the weekly charts, moving averages can fail as support on the shorter to midterm. So Bitcoin could fail support at the 50-day moving average. We could come down to the $26,000 region for support. And I want to just show you again that 6-hour chart similarity that we had. Check out what it looks like here on the daily chart. So we have Bitcoin on this RSI, slower movement momentum oscillator, kind of just falling, right now consolidating. And then what we're talking about here in this video is just this fall, right? This fall to target. And this is that area in March that we were just looking at, consolidating, and that fall to the oversold target. This is what I'm watching for and anticipating for. And it absolutely does not mean that it's going to happen. But I like to prepare for these scenarios because not only do we have just the technical targets, but we're starting to see similarities, I think, on the Bitcoin charts that's just allowing for those targets to be hit. So in terms of targets, what am I watching? It kind of depends. It really depends on how quick the target is hit, how much pain is involved in hitting the target. $26,000 right off the bat might not actually bring Bitcoin down into overbought. So that's something to keep in mind. But what I'd be watching for is a really kind of strong area of just opportunity potentially for people that have waited for a dip. And this is a big opportunity because we're looking at a 31,000 swing high. And it's this area down here testing, once again, the lower trend line of this huge rising channel. So Bitcoin actually hits a $26,000 target and actually just falls, capitulates, right? A big fall for Bitcoin. Something that happened like back here in March, right? Maybe not to the 200-day, but to this area right here that we have on the chart. And that is a swing. It's a higher low area. It's a Fibonacci higher low. So if we take our Fibonacci, it's the swing low back here to that, from that dip to the swing high. And it's just a higher low. So that area, if there's that capitulation for Bitcoin, and it's not me sitting here predicting it and saying it's going to happen, but it's something to prepare for. It is right around, let's just call it 24,000 at the 618 and the 786 around 22,000. The biggest point that I want to make in talking about all of this is not just to sit here and say, hey, we have downside targets. Hey, prepare for it. My thing, and this is just me tracking the charts from my perspective and tracking my crypto journey. My thing here in doing this is the very fact that even if we visualize that pain and we say, man, Bitcoin's not doing what we all want it to do and just keep going up over and over and over again, higher highs, higher lows, all-time high on the way, right? Bitcoin's not doing that. It's forcing us to wait and be patient through these cycles. Even if it's falling and we're back from $31,000 and we're falling to 23,000, say it does fall into this higher low area, look at the Bitcoin chart. And this would be in a scenario where Bitcoin is oversold on the daily chart. That's bullish. What I care about is the macro, is a zoomed out, and that is bullish. And so if we go to the weekly chart, this is where I think we really just need to pay attention. And just at the end of the day, we can zoom out on the shorter term charts and say, what are we really looking for Bitcoin right now? And it's the same exact thing that we're looking for from Bitcoin in every bear market low and the pivot to bull market. It's just all of these moving averages just coming together. Look, they're converging together, right? That's what we're looking for right now. What exactly that looks like, at the end of the day, nobody knows. But we can just look the last cycle, Bitcoin making this nice bullish move out of the bear, similar to what we've been getting recently, and just pulling into the moving averages, right? Obviously, COVID shook the charts a little bit. Hopefully, we don't get something like that on the charts, but we need to allow for these moves back to the downside, consolidation of the moving averages. And so we want to watch for support at the moving averages. Currently, we have the 50-week moving average is our lowest moving average. It's around $22,000. But I think it's really just important to remember, every cycle, Bitcoin is kind of doing this. And here's 2015 exiting the bear market, just pulling into the moving averages in a very more bullish fashion, right? 20-week moving average, just higher highs, higher lows, support all the way out of that exit. And then you can actually even go back and you can look all the way back here. I mean, check this out. This is 2013 swing high and Bitcoin just falls and then boom, just kind of above the 20-week moving average. So it's like, it's the same story It just looks a little bit different every cycle, but that's at the end of the day, really what I'm watching for. It's just all of this moving average area support for Bitcoin and allowing these dips on the short term to allow for that test. And each time Bitcoin cooling off, setting up for the next cycle as we're less than a year away from Bitcoin halving. So that's what I'm watching on the short term. That's kind of how it translates on the long term. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber, everybody. Trying to grow this channel throughout the bear market and now as we get ready for the next cycle, the bull cycle. And I appreciate all of your support. Hit the like button as well. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.